Hi, I'm Nathaniel Stoner. In the community, I go by NS Brick Designs, and today I'm showing you our Battle of Sokovia collaboration from Avengers Age of Ultron. This has been in the works for about a year, ever since last Brick Fair Virginia in 2017, and we were planning it for this year, and we got all done within a few months of building because some of us were busy and we had a lot of stuff to get done. So it started out with it was going to be a 32 by 32 base plates, just two of them, and then it transferred to 12 48 by 48s.
How exactly does it go from that small to that big?
Well, originally it was going to be like three of us, and we were like, okay, we can fit a church. I was like, I can fit the church on a one base plate, and I started building a church. I was like, yeah, no. So we were like, okay, what do you need for the church? So I was like, I need 4 48 by 48s to do it justice, and then that's what determined the rest of it. So we were like, we can't just make it the church, we want to make it a collab, so we left room for lots of city building around it. So that's how it got so big after much deliberation.
Fantastic. So you would talk about your section, then we'll go down the line and have each collaborator talk about what they did.
Yeah, sure. Carter and I basically were some of the main organizers. We designed a lot of things like the road that then everybody continued on with. I did power lines that everybody used, and just little things like that. He came up with lampposts. So it was the two of us that kind of organized it. My specific section is the center, the dark tan square for the church. So it's the 448 by 48 section, and it has the church on it with the main battle scene, with the interior scene, and just random debris around it. The church was a very challenging thing to figure out how I wanted to build it, because it's not a rounded shape, it's round, and then it has all these parts that come off of it that make it a very peculiar shape that I would have to make it even bigger if I was going to do the thing correct. So I figured I would just basically take the center of the church, which is the core area, and use that. So it has just a main opening in the front so that everybody could see in. I wanted to maybe have a complete roof and hinge it, but that just wasn't practical. So I decided to go with the open concept, and we just have lots of Ultron drones and Avengers fighting with trying to get lots of good positioning with the figures for action. And most people point out the Quicksilver effect that I came up with. That was actually using cockpits I got right here at Brick Fair last year. So thanks to Brick Fair last year for this year's Sokovia collaboration. So that was my section of it.
Great job. So we'll move down to Carter then.
Hi, I'm Carter Weinstock. I built the three base plates to the left of the church. Those three. My favorite part is probably my trolley. I'm usually a train and city builder, and so that's why I obviously did the majority of this. Not majority, but I did the biggest section of city. I love Easter eggs. I absolutely love them, and we have tons of Easter eggs. We've got a list over there. We've got Iron Legion drones. We've got Kevin Hinkle. We've got y'all up in the hotel interviewing us. It was just so much fun. I really feel like my building skill has kind of increased through this. As you can tell if you look at the building, some of them are less detailed, some of them are more detailed. But overall, it was just a blast, and yeah.
I like John's showing right there. You mentioned I think you included us with a micro version of this build. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was my idea originally, and then Nathaniel was like, "Oh, I built the figures." I was like, "All right, this is great. This is gonna be great. This may help us get an interview," and I guess maybe it did.
For the record, I didn't even notice we were there until we were already going to do the interview, so this is certainly worthy of an interview on its own.
Why, thank you.
Yes, but that is a cool detail.
Yeah, thank you, yeah.
Yeah, and your buildings are awesome. So are there any other town builders that you're inspired by as you've built over the years? Because there's tons of massive town layouts that you see at shows.
Oh my gosh, of course. The lugs that they have, these huge, amazing buildings. I always dreamed of doing something like that. Now, this isn't a huge entire town, but I think it's better, in my opinion, because you kind of get immersed into all the destruction, and you feel kind of like you're there with all of the detail that we've added. And I kind of like this better, in my personal opinion, and I still got to add a train, so that was great too.
Perfect. Well, then we'll move down to the next collaborator if you want to introduce yourself and take us through your section.
My name is Dominic Mango, or known on the internet as PsychoBrick. I would say that I had the smallest parts to deal with this, but they do make the collab pop. So what I did is I did all of the Avengers logos on each of the corners. Nathaniel told me that, like, hey, you should probably get a design for the Avengers logos to kind of make it pop, like stand out. And I was like, okay, I can do that. So I made it like relatively small. And then also what I did was I made a Marvel Studios logo to kind of make it aware that, like, hey, this is a Marvel build. And then actually just recently I bought parts for I got red bricks and whatnot to make a 10 for the 10 years of Marvel Studios. So I guess in a way, like this collab is kind of celebrating the 10 years of the Marvel Studios, Marvel Cinematic Universe, really. Yeah. So.
And that brick-built lettering is not easy, so I'm always impressed when builders incorporate that. What were some of the trials you faced doing that?
Some of the things, like one of the things that was kind of tricky to figure out was the D. And as you can see there, I used kind of like the cheese slope method. So that turned out well, but I would say that's probably the trickiest part. And then also making sure that the letters in, like, say, Marvel weren't too thick, weren't too thin, because I had a lot of reference to the actual logo and whatnot. And then I also, like, I wanted to have, like, the 10 logo, because it's been 10 years. I just never got around to it, but then I got parts from Brick Fair, and I was like, hey, yeah, I can make a 10 now. So,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had some nice little extra added details that really added to the build, so thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
The next collaborator?
I'm Daniel Miller, also known as Chevy Lego Dude 77, and I did the 2 base plates in the back behind the church.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So take us through some of the details in the buildings there.
Right. My favorite building is the sand green one because that's one of my favorite Lego colors. I had a lot of fun building that. One of the most difficult things I found building this was getting all the detail into the buildings, making them look really good. But I think I did a decent job at doing that.
Yeah, I think there's even like a guy hanging off the side of the building on the sand green one there.
That was actually my sister's idea. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, great work there. So definitely, even the building on the end there is nice as well. Talk about the one with kind of the flowers in it.
Oh yeah, that one I actually didn't spend that much time on, but it ended up looking really nice. So the roof was actually fairly boring at the beginning, but I added a lot of detail, including the air conditioner, where I went really crazy on the greebling there. Yeah.
Excellent work. Thank you.
Yep.
Hi, my name's Robbie Herberger, or Rob's World War II Bricks on Flickr, and I did the upper right-hand corner of the build. And so I actually joined this collab a little later. They were like, someone dropped out last minute, and so they asked me, Nathaniel asked me, hey, can you join and do this section? And I'm like, sure. And so, I got in, and so I built the 3 buildings there. I'm normally a World War II builder and stuff, and so I was trying to figure out, okay, I need to make a little more modern buildings and more like World War II of like France and stuff like that, and Belgium buildings. So I decided to like modernize a little bit the buildings that I've had based off of like World War II and stuff. And so I was able to make some really nice buildings that I could now go back home and use for World War II, but still also like fit really nice into Sokovia.
Yeah, those are some great, and you even did the nice kind of rundown stuff there with the holes in the buildings and everything.
Yeah, that was actually like, I was thinking about that, of having like an Ultron drone like looked like it had been thrown into the building and stuff by like Hulk or something.
Very impressive. So then, Joseph, finish out with your section.
Hey Hamlins, I'm Joe Zawada. I'm the final builder as part of this collaboration. I'm actually not a big fan of Avengers.
No, bad thing to say.
But see, I've never watched the movie, but I like my friends.
Yeah.
So they asked me to be a part of it, and I was really happy to be in it. I think that me really loving the display as a whole is a testament of the talent that went into it.
Yeah.
As I don't have the added benefit of knowing the IP. But onto my build, I had a lot of fun with it. I came on a little bit later. I'm mainly a castle builder, so it was fun to try to build a modern building this time. So I went for a garage and an apartment building. Overall, I tried to maintain the techniques that I've grown comfortable with, but adapt them slightly to be more suited for modern architecture. Overall, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. The guys are all great. And I'm actually considering seeing the movie, which I think is a success.
They've worked on you for that.
Yeah.
Now, are there interiors in these buildings at all?
There are not interiors. There's a partial interior for the garage because the door is slightly ajar. So I wanted anyone who came by to be able to get a peek and kind of see. There's like tools laying in there, and I think like some exhaust pipes or something. But yeah, that's the only interiors that I had.
And then I love is that like a green screen suit man there being shot in front?
Yes, it is. Nathaniel, he's a really big fan of Avengers. So he wanted to add some elements of realism, and that's how the Ultron sentries were filmed, whereas green screen with the, I guess the images added on there. So to add a little bit more fun for the convention, we added little Easter eggs and little fun stuff like that. We have Mickey directing him over there as well, because our fun Disney overlords have consumed all of media. Avengers is their most recent acquisition, or one of their more recent acquisitions, so good for them, making that money.
Always buying up more stuff. Well, I think that's a great addition to it, so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So then if we get back to Nathaniel here, talk about kind of the collab in general some more. How did this work with all 6 of you guys communicating back and forth and figuring out who was doing what and how it would come together?
Yeah, I forgot to mention this at first. We're a new LEGO user group. We're called Salty Lug. We have a little flyer there. We're on Facebook, Flickr, and Instagram. We're not like a recognized LEGO user group by the LEGO group yet. We're working towards that. Right now we just focus on building together and having fun. We're all online, so it was pretty easy because we were all online communication already, so we were able to send pictures back and forth through Discord, which is what we use primarily. So it was a lot of updating each other with what we're working on, what colors work, what texturing works, and all that. We have a map here that I brought to print out. That this was the original map for the collab when we decided, okay, this is what we need for the church area, so then what can we add to make it look more like a complete city? So then we figured out and color-coded who's doing what, and then little things like that. So that was part of the planning process. For the only other part about the plan process that we have here is a QR code. If viewers are able to scan it through the screen, it's a build log, so you can see how everybody's sections came together. Every whip picture I got, we just put it there in the compilation to see how it all came together in physical form anyway. So it was just a lot of online messaging back and forth. Carter and I, again, we were mostly the main organizers, and we live locally near each other, so we were able to, or I was able to go to his house a couple times, and we actually worked on some of his stuff there and just planned things out that way so that everybody was able to understand what we were doing for the layout.
Yeah, and the whole thing turned out fantastic. I'm so glad you guys were able to work so well together. It really comes together very nicely. You can't even tell that it was done in a bunch of different sections like that. So it's really great. Thanks so much for chatting with me, everyone. Appreciate it. Good stuff.
Thank you, guys.